Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you my What's Better, Raw or Smackdown series, and this is going to be episode 32. Can't believe it's been 32 episodes, and now that I've kind of gone into that, let's talk about this week's Raw and Smackdown. I haven't seen Smackdown yet. Smackdown's currently playing at the moment, but I figured I'd do this first. So let's talk about Raw for this week. Um, I actually thought Raw was a pretty good show. There was really nothing I hated on this show. It wasn't a great show, I don't think, but I actually thought it was a really good show. Now, obviously, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room, and pretty much now we know Roman Reigns is not a heel. Yet, we pretty much know that because during the in-ring segment with Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, and Kurt Angle, it was actually pretty cool to see Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, and Kurt Angle back in the ring together. This was the first time they had been back in the ring together, I believe, since 2003 when they were doing their big feud when they had their match at WrestleMania 19, and then Lesnar turned heel, beat the crap out of him in the cage match. They even brought up some of that history. And during that segment, it was interrupted by Roman Reigns. Now, once he came out, I knew he was face. Because Lesnar's technically a heel. I know technically Lesnar's a tweener, but pretty much Lesnar is going to be the heel in that case. And pretty much Roman Reigns is still a babyface. Why is he still a babyface? He literally pretty much attempted murder on Roman. No, well, yeah, he didn't attempt murder on himself. On Braun Strowman. He pretty much till we found out Braun Strowman's not going to be on Raw for a while. But pretty much he got mad that he lost, and the ambulance match last night, he speared Strowman out of the ambulance and tried to murder the guy. Braun Strowman's the babyface. They made Braun Strowman come off as a babyface. They thought it was horrendous when Roman Reigns did it, but yet he was thought of as a babyface. Um, really weird. So yeah, I'm not really a fan that Roman Reigns is still a face. And yeah, obviously too the WWE I think is gonna try to get Roman Reigns over by putting the Shield back because you kind of saw this throughout the night. They had the Mizzies where the Miz pretty much gave a bunch of awards to his Miz Tourage. He gave awards to Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel pretty much talk about how their career was nothing, but then the Miz brought him into the light. And now Curtis Axel says that he looks and feels like $1,000,000. Maurice got like the sexiest woman alive. And then the Miz got like the best actor of all time or whatever. At first he teased it by saying it was Dean Ambrose, but then he said, "No, I'm just kidding. It's the Miz." So then the Miz cuts this great promo talking about how everybody that lost the match or the pay-per-view was just all talk. I actually went out there and I beat Dean Ambrose. He talks about how Dean Ambrose can't handle the pressure, and Dean Ambrose comes out and he attacks the Miz Tourage, but they ended up beating the crap out of him. So then Seth Rollins comes out to make the save. They fight off the Miz Tourage. Rollins fights him off with one of those chairs that they had set up, and yeah, they pretty much tease a Shield reunion. Because then later on you see Seth Rollins backstage. Because the Miz, by the way, the Miz was one of the guys. Seth Rollins was one of the guys that the Miz talked trash to. Um, and Dean Ambrose came up and pretty much told him to stay out of his business. It's not going to be a Shield reunion because obviously they have a past history. It was actually pretty cool to see Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose working together again, considering the fact that they really haven't. Because when Rollins turned face, Ambrose was on Smackdown, and when there was no brand split, Rollins was still a heel. And after all the stuff that he's done to Dean Ambrose, I thought that was pretty cool. But if they are going to do a Shield reunion, it's just it's not going to be what it was back then. You have the Shield. When the Shield came into the picture, everyone was kind of seen as equals. When they come back, it's been 3 years since the Shield's broken up, and you have Dean Ambrose, who's just gotten lazy and complacent. He's not what he once was when the Shield were intact, and even when the Shield broke up. Seth Rollins definitely isn't what he once was. He's actually excelled past the Shield, but he's actually still kind of a smiling doofus. You have Roman Reigns, who's become universally hated. Um, Roman Reigns is just, they booked him poorly. They pretty much shot him up to the main event scene, and they forced him down our throats. And yeah, they pretty much just, yeah, forced him. And what's going to happen is obviously everybody knows that everyone claims that the fans are going to chant for Roman Reigns because the Shield is back. Well, here's what's going to happen. They're going to chant for Rollins and Ambrose, but when it's time for Roman Reigns to do stuff, they're going to boo it. Like when Roman Reigns does his triple powerbomb signal, it's not going to get cheered. It's going to get probably a mixed reaction. They'll be happy to see the triple powerbomb again, but then when Roman Reigns actually starts doing it every week, they'll hate it. Roman Reigns, like one of my friends said, could end world hunger and cause world peace, but he will still get hated. That's what's gonna happen. Because then later on in the night, Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt, they go to a rematch between them. Seth Rollins kind of promo talking about, how he came out there to help, to beat up the Miz because he didn't like the fact that he was talking shit about him, and he says that no matter what, even though Bray Wyatt poked my eyes, it still doesn't prove the fact that he's a fraud and he can't hang with Seth freaking Rollins. And then Bray Wyatt talks about how you know he's how he took after last night. He's got some of Seth Rollins' powers, and all that Seth Rollins has is sins. And he says he's going to take the rest of it tonight. They have actually a pretty good match. It was really weird that there was the main event of the show, since at the Great Balls of Fire, it actually ended up opening the show. I thought that was weird. But yeah, you had Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins had a pretty decent match with each other. Seth Rollins went after the injured arm Bray Wyatt a lot throughout this match. I thought that was some good stuff. Bray Wyatt took control, hits a Yoanagi on him, the jawbreaker, and they actually had a nice, solid back and forth matchup. Eventually, Bray Wyatt wins with the Sister Abigail because he ended up thumbing him in his eye again. And yeah, they played over that factor. Then after Wyatt leaves, the Miz comes out and tries to beat up Seth Rollins, but then Dean Ambrose runs out with a chair and fights him off. And he actually ended up beating the crap out of the Miz with the chair, which is kind of weird because normally the leader of a group doesn't get any damage done to him. So I thought that was kind of odd. So it looks like they are building to a Shield reunion. Where is Roman Reigns going to lie here? Because for this to happen, Roman Reigns would have to lose the WWE Universal title match to Brock Lesnar. Because I did find out that it is going to be Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Universal Championship. And the only way this, hopefully, what happens is Samoa Joe beats Roman Reigns, and then maybe they do the Shield reunion that way. But then if they do the Shield reunion, then Braun Strowman would have to come back, and they would have to beat the shit out of Strowman, which will actually make them heel. Because Strowman's over now. He's a babyface. They can't force him to heel because he's a babyface now. So it's just weird. And they can't do like this thing where they're going to have the Wyatt family reunite with Strowman, Wyatt, and Bo Dallas. Because Strowman's actually way over than fucking Bray Wyatt is. No one gives a shit really all that much about Bray Wyatt anymore. So I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, I didn't really mind the stuff they did reuniting the Shield. I just don't really. I like if the Shield go heel, then it will work. Because let's be honest, I'm not going to see it anyways. Because if it does not involve Roman Reigns turning heel, then it won't work. But yeah, I know that Joe and Reigns are having a match just because of the fact that it wasn't advertised. But I did not watch this segment because Roman Reigns is still a babyface. Once the guy turns heel, I will be watching Roman Reigns' segments again. So then we had the cruiserweight match. It was Akira Tozawa and Cedric Alexander versus Noam Dar and Neville with Alicia Fox ringside. Tied into two storylines here: Tozawa and Neville, Cedric and Dar. One I care about, sort of. One I don't really care about. I think Titus O'Neil was in Cedric Alexander's and Akira Tozawa's corner. I'm actually starting to like the whole thing they're doing with Titus O'Neil as the manager role in the Titus brand. I actually think that's working pretty well for him. They announced that on 205 Live, which is going to be tonight, since I'm recording this on Tuesday, there's going to be an I Quit match between Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar. They're going to finally end that bullshit feud, and that's awesome. If anybody should win that match, it should be Cedric Alexander, because Cedric Alexander, I think they should position him to go after Neville next for the Cruiserweight Championship, and having him win that I Quit match and have him look really strong would do just that. because there's really no reason for Noam Dar to win that match. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Um, and we had the match itself. It was a solid cruiserweight title match. Um, the finish is Cedric Alexander hangs up Neville balls first onto the ropes, and he tags in Tozawa. It's pretty much just like what happened to Tozawa at Great Balls of Fire. Tozawa does the exact same thing where he kicks the ropes right into Neville's dick, and then he hits the senton off the top turnbuckle for the win, and Tozawa wins. This makes sense because this positions Tozawa to get another Cruiserweight Championship match. I don't expect the match to happen at SummerSlam. I think that match is probably going to happen on an episode of Raw or 205 Live, because I think Cedric Alexander should be the guy at SummerSlam to face Neville. And if they do a good enough job, they could actually have Cedric Alexander be the guy to take the Cruiserweight Championship off Neville, but we're going to have to wait and see. But definitely without Austin Aries, though, I feel like the Cruiserweight division just kind of lost that name value, because Neville and Aries were really the big names of the Cruiserweight division. Now that Austin Aries is out of the WWE, you don't really see much of a name anymore. Definitely Aries could have been incorporated tonight. They definitely could have had Aries come out and interrupt the Mizzies. Had they had booked that right, they could have had Aries and Miz go out, face each other, and have a feud over the Intercontinental Championship, but they decided not to do that. So then we had what else did I like on the show? We had the women's match. I actually didn't care that much for the women's match. It was between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax versus Bayley and Sasha Banks. It was just there. The women's division. It's not once. It's not as big as it was in 2015, 2016 ish. It's just on Raw. It's just stagnant. It's not crap because it's not. It will never get as bad. I don't think as 2012. 2013 when they were having like 1-2 minute matches. At least the women have some story and have some characters and personalities, and they're actually allowed to go out there and showcase their credibility. But the women's division on Raw is nothing right now. It's not doing nothing. Pretty much what happens is the heels beat up Bayley, and then Alexa Bliss is about to win with Twisted Bliss. Sasha breaks it up, and Bayley gets the wall-up victory on Alexa Bliss. But they're still pretty. At least Bayley wasn't buried that much this week. She did get a roll-up victory on Alexa, but they're still burying Bayley pretty hard because they're having her look bad every chance she gets. Hopefully, maybe this week it was a sign that it's going to happen, but I'm not sure on that yet. We're going to have to wait. Bayley's just being buried bad, though. Then we had Finn Balor versus Elias Sampson was on this show as well. Elias Sampson did a concert for Finn Balor where he pretty much trashed him. I thought it was good. Finn Balor and Elias Sampson I thought had a good match. I actually liked the fact that this was a match on Raw that had story behind it. Finn Balor, Elias Sampson too immediately hits a body slam right on Finn Balor. Finn Balor dominates the rest of the matchup. Gets a drop kick. He goes for the coup de grace. Sampson rolls out of the ring. Balor does a flip wall dive outside the ring. And then Sampson gets the upper hand. Balor starts to make a comeback. He goes for that kick to the chest off the apron, but Sampson grabs his knee and drives him shoulder first on the apron. And Elias Sampson dominates. Finn Balor goes after the injured shoulder, but eventually Finn Balor makes a huge comeback, hits a slim blade, a drop kick into the corner, then the coup de grace for the win. So I definitely think this is the end of this feud. And I think they just want to have Finn Balor move on to facing somebody else, maybe Bray Wyatt. I'm not sure. Bray Wyatt may actually win a feud because it looks like Rollins is going to go on to do this whole thing with the Miz Taraj. So it's good for Bray Wyatt that at least won a feud. This feud, though, was a nothing feud. I said I wanted Wyatt to win a feud, but this feud really wasn't much of a feud. It was just they were fighting just for the sake of, just for something for them to do. So it didn't really feel like it was much of a feud. Then we had Hardy Boys came out and congratulated Finn Balor, and then they cut a promo. The Hardy Boys cut a promo, pretty much talked about that now that they've lost to Sheamus and Cesaro in the 30-minute Iron Man match. That tag teams are starting to talk about that they're going. That the Hardys have gone soft, but the nostalgic act has worn off. And Jeff Hardy even says that they even may have failed, and they may even go into obsolete or something like that. And he said it too, like the old way he would say it when he was Brother Nero in TNA. And Matt Hardy, goes and talks about how they're not done yet. They have more stuff to do for the WWE Universe. Then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson come out, and they pretty much said that they were the ones that were saying this stuff because the Hardy Boys are just old, and nothing but the old Hardy Boys. And Matt Hardy did say, well, you're right. We did get bruised. We did get hurt last night. Maybe a little broken, you know, um, pretty much reference having like a little hint that the broken gimmick's coming. So they challenge Gallows and Anderson to a match. They accept. They have a fairly good tag match. Gallows and Anderson win. When Gallows kicks Matt Hardy in the back of the head, and then they hit the Magic Killer on Matt Hardy, which I think makes sense. One, it made sense for Gallows and Anderson to win since the Hardy Boys were injured from the um, Iron Man match. It wouldn't have made sense if they had just been able to come back and win. But what I also liked about it is it also tied in. They're trying to, I think the WWE is going to finally go in the route of putting in the broken gimmick in the WWE, and that's they're slowly building to it. Because you can't just have the Hardy Boys just be broken out of nowhere, and they need to build to it. Because it's different than just what because in TNA they were able to do it because it was a new idea. The WWE has to go in a different direction with it, and I like the fact that it looks like they're gonna finally have the broken gimmick. Because if they had continued just doing Team Extreme, it wouldn't have worked. Then the Revival come out, beat the crap out of the Hardy Boys. Dawson goes off the middle turnbuckle and hits a knee right to Matt Hardy's head. And then the Revival hit the Shattered Machine on Jeff Hardy. And it looks like that the Hardy Boys are going to finally be the broken Hardy Boys. I hope they don't just rush into it. Save it for SummerSlam. Have the Hardy Boys have the big broken Hardy gimmick. And I think you can do some great stuff there. So I like what they did there. Then what else did I like on the show? There was something else. Big Cass. Big Cass comes out and he talks about how he destroyed Enzo Amore. He says that he shows photos of when he was beating Enzo in the corner. He says that was me beating 5 years of aggression right into Enzo Amore. How when he threw Enzo Amore out of the window, it was like he threw him out of his life. And he said that he showed the footage of when Enzo had to go get medical attention, and he pretty much trashes the fans for always chanting for Enzo Amore, and he doesn't accept um, their fan base anymore, and how they nobody ever saw any potential in him in Big Cass. He says that he's going to go become the next big star in WWE, go after the Universal title, be on be the poster boy. And he said that he's 7 feet tall and no one's bigger than him. And then Big Show comes out and has a face off with Big Cass, and they have a great face off. This makes sense too because when Big Cass was attacking Enzo when we didn't know it, Big Cass made it seem like it was the Big Show, so this makes sense. And then Big Cass, you hear him whispering something in the Big Show's ear, and Big Show headbutts him. They get into a little bit of a brawl. Big Show hits a bunch of takedowns on him and just really beats the crap out of Cass. Goes for the knockout punch. Cass goes out of the win. And yeah, it looks like they're going to do a Big Cass Big Show feud. I'm actually looking forward to that. I can't wait to see what they do with that feud. Um, and hopefully they have Big Cass win and beat Big Show and really push Big Cass. And then they had Goldust and Truth had a match. Goldust did another one of his vignettes, and I thought this was a good match here. It was a match that had story behind it. Kind of was weird though that they did all that build up just to lead to a match on Raw. I'm not mad about it because it's up. This match really wasn't pay per view quality, but it is kind of weird that they did all that build up just to have a match on Monday Night Raw. But Goldust dominated the matchup. He actually ended up heading R-Truth in the head, and he just destroys him. R-Truth makes his comeback, and they have a nice little match. R-Truth hits a sunset flip. Goldust hits his typical uppercut, and eventually Goldust wins with the final cut. And I'm guessing the feud's over now, and hopefully they don't just fade it away to nothing. Hopefully they at least do more with Goldust, because you could still do a lot with Goldust and have like one final big run out of the WWE. And let me see, is there anything else I want to talk about on Raw? They had the Kurt Angle stuff happen, where Kurt Angle ended up finding out, he's worried about pretty much this text message scandal, and he's going to finally go public about it next week. You hear him talking to somebody backstage saying that they love him, and he says, no matter what happens, I'm going to always love you. So what does this lead into? I don't know. we'll have to wait to find out till next week. And nothing else really to say on Raw. There really wasn't anything else I remember. I thought Raw overall was a pretty good show. If I had to rate it, I'll probably rate it a 8 out of 10. I thought it was actually a good show. I thought it was a good follow up to Great Balls of Fire. And it looks like they're starting to build up some feuds to SummerSlam. Big cast and big show. They're going to start maybe to build up the Broken Hearted gimmick coming, which makes me excited. They're going to do something probably big finally with Finn Balor, maybe have a feud with Bray Wyatt. Wyatt and Rollins had a good match. I like what they did with Rollins and Ambrose, how they're teasing the Shield reunion. I like it, but don't like it because the Shield reunion it's built into something I'm pretty much not going to be able to see. So yeah. And then what else did I like on Raw this week? I also liked the cruiserweight match. But yeah. But not a lot of it was accomplished. It was pretty much more of a fallout to the pay per view. So yeah, and the Kurt Angle stuff I liked. I can't wait to see what they do with that next week. So I did like Raw this week. I thought it was a good show, and I think yeah, it just delivered pretty well. Um, the only thing I really can think of that I hated was with the women's match. That was probably about it. I even like Goldust and R-Truth's little segment they did in match. So overall, good Raw this week. Nothing perfect, but a good Raw. And let's see how Smackdown ends up doing. I forgot. I still have one more show to review. I can't do the plugs and stuff. So I'm going to go review Smackdown now. All right. So now we had Smackdown for tonight. Well, by the time I see it, it'll be last night. Um, and yeah, let me just talk about it. I'm not. So it started off with yeah, obviously it started off with AJ Styles. He's the new United States champion. Um, obviously he ended up winning the championship at Madison Square Garden. And if you want to know my thoughts on that, make sure to check out my video that will be right here on the Less Than Fortune 44 channel. While you're there, make sure to subscribe to Less Than Fortune 44 because I talk about that in that video. But yeah, we had he came out. He talked about how how he's the new United States champion, and he believes that the U.S. title should go back to prestige. It stay that way because he's sick and tired of that title getting diminished. And I like that he said that. I thought it was a great promo. So he says that he's going to bring back the United States Championship Open Challenge. And who accepts in the answer to the challenge? Who accepts? None other than John Felix Anthony Cena, which I think makes sense because he's the one that started off the United States Championship Open Challenge. So he comes out. They're about to have the match. Kevin Owens comes out and he talks about how nobody wants to see this match anymore. Everybody has seen enough of everybody has seen enough of John Cena versus AJ Styles, which, I think, which I actually kind of like that line because this show was actually filmed in San Antonio, where, John Cena beat AJ Styles to win his 16th WWE Championship. And Kevin Owens says that they want Cena just to leave, and John Cena challenges Owens to come in the ring and do something about it, just like he normally does. Rusev ambushes him and Styles from behind, and then Owens gets in the ring, fights with Styles. Owens lays out Styles with the pump-up powerbomb. Rusev kicks Cena in the head, and then gets him in the accolade. And later on, this led to a match in the main event between Rusev and Kevin Owens versus John Cena and AJ Styles. It was a decent tag match. Owens and Rusev dominated Cena for a while, and then eventually they made the hot tag to Styles. He tried to get Rusev in the calf crusher, but Owens broke it up, and then they get the heat on Styles for a while, and then eventually Cena gets the hot tag, hits all his moves on Owens, the 5 moves of doom, goes for the AA, Rusev kicks him in the head, Styles hits the phenomenal forearm, Owens goes to clothesline him, Styles hits the Pele kick, and then Cena hits the AA for the win, and earlier in the night, they did kind of signal and tease that there's possibly going to be a match coming with Cena and Styles for the U.S. title. So that's that. And they announced that Battleground, it will be AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens in the rematch for the United States Championship. Really weird. Um, so I guess Owens wasn't hurt. So I guess in that they did just do that, have AJ Styles win the United States Championship um, just to boost live attendance. But it's really kind of stupid. And what's going on with Kevin Owens? He's been not. They've kind of been burying him as of late. You know, he does this weird thing where Chris Jericho's defeated him at Payback for the U.S. title just to win it right back on Smackdown. Um, he's been taking a lot of pinfall victories in tag team matches lately. He's gotten bitched out by fucking Baron Corbin, which Baron Corbin's a decent dominant guy, but Kevin Owens could like wrestle circles around that guy. And then yeah, he's gotten beat by Nakamura twice. He lost the Money in the Bank match. And then he hasn't wrestled the past couple of weeks. He's been getting bitched out by AJ Styles. He's lost his U.S. title, and I guess they did just do it for attendance rating because I thought Kevin Owens maybe got injured, but he was wrestling just fine on SmackDown tonight. So I don't know what the hell. It seems like the company just has moved on from Kevin Owens. You would have thought that since he went on SmackDown, he'd actually have a better career because on Raw he was actually beat. I'd rather him have stayed on Raw and be fighting for the Universal Championship. I don't know what's going on with Kevin Owens. Obviously Rusev's gonna get buried. Cena even went on Talking Smack later and talked about how you know he's going to win this flag match. Talked about how how he's going to stay in WWE and stuff, the typical Cena stuff. It was a little bit different. He was acting more like himself and trying to be funny. It was kind of funny. Like there was some stuff you could kind of totally tell was scripted. Like when he went to when he went to taste Shane's drink. Um, because on Talking Smack it was Renee Young and Shane McMahon, and he spit it out and thought it was gross. That was came off to so scripted. So yeah, whatever. And then other things that were on SmackDown though this week, but I did like the stuff they did with the tag match and stuff. I'm just not really a fan of how they're utilizing Kevin Owens as of late. But I really do hope that I guess is leading to a match between Styles and Cena for the U.S. title because I wouldn't really complain about that. Um, have one maybe big final blow off match because Owens and no Cena and Styles could have one final match with each other. They did kind of tease that, so I don't know if it's going to happen at SummerSlam or on a SmackDown. I'm not sure. Because I do want to see Styles versus Nakamura, but I think you are better off saving that for WrestleMania 34. Have Nakamura wrestle somebody else, maybe Kevin Owens, somebody else. So I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. Then we had what else was on SmackDown? Jinder Mahal beat Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger was just squashed pretty much, so he's pretty much going into the Jobber territory. I get you have to make Jinder Mahal win because he's the WWE champion. Why he's the WWE champion, I don't know. Then afterwards, he tells Randy Orton that he's going to win the Punjabi prison next week. So yeah, stupid. Jinder Mahal is WWE champion. Is stupid. Um, I want Randy Orton to take this title from him. I'd rather sit through another Randy Orton John Cena match at SummerSlam than have Jinder Mahal be WWE champion any longer, but it's not going to happen. I still don't get what they never even explained why Jinder Mahal and the Sin Brothers are a faction. They just are. Then we had what else was on SmackDown this week? One of the Usos, I don't even remember now, versus Xavier Woods. The New Day came off as such heels because they're the ones that were actually interfering in the match, and they have the numbers advantage, but yet the Usos are the heels, and they got ejected. Everybody gets ejected from ringside. Then Xavier Woods beats one of the Usos with the elbow drop, and Xavier Woods wins. Fine. The match actually was pretty decent. And then we had the Fashion Files. I don't think it wasn't called the Fashion Files. It was since it was in Texas. They tried to make it seem like it was Southern by having them ride a horse and stuff. And they tried to claim that it was the Hype Bros that took out Tyler Breeze and Zack Ryder returned. And Mojo Rawley says that it wasn't them because they were trying to get the SmackDown Tag Title match. Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley bicker over the fact that Mojo Rawley eliminated him from the Battle Royal. So the Breezango are like, well, we're running out of suspects here. And then they do this funny spot where Tyler Breeze is supposed to throw the rope and like tie up Zack Ryder, but then what he's supposed to do when he's all tangled up himself, it was actually just pretty funny stuff. I've been enjoying these fashion bios stuff lately. It's definitely like Law and Order, but just a comedic way. And then, so yeah, I don't know who it is. They definitely teased to the Hype Bros split up, and it definitely seems like they're gonna have Zack Ryder turn heel, even though nobody likes No Mojo Rawley and everybody likes Zack Ryder, but they're gonna turn the guy that people don't like heel. I mean, they're gonna turn the guy that that the people do like heel. Stupid. Um, Then we had Sami Zayn. They furthered the Sami Zayn Mike Kanellis feud this week. Maria Kanellis went to look for Sami Zayn because she wanted an apology. She saw Chad Gable, didn't get an apology, and then Sami Zayn later on said he didn't have anything to apologize for. They talk about how the love fest is just getting disturbing, and he says that he's been all he's been doing was been going out there to compete, and he tells Mike Kanellis, "Are you the one that's competing, or is she the one that's competing?" Then she slaps Sami Zayn in the face, and then Mike Kanellis. There was a vase of robes that he had given Maria. He hits Sami Zayn in the back of the head with it and walks off. It came off as so goofy because it's like he didn't really know what to do at first. He like grabbed the vase, kind of like as desperation, and just hit him in the back of the head. And it just came off as so goofy, and this feud's goofy. And I get WWE's being weird. It's a PG company, so you can't have blood, even though they had it at the pay per view this Sunday. But if you get hit in the head with a fucking vase, you're gonna bleed. It's gonna happen. So why wasn't there blood? I'm just asking. And even though Sami Zayn was hitting the fucking head with a vase, he's able to go fucking be a talking smack, and it makes no sense. And pretty much they talking smack just explain how goofy this feud was because all Sami Zayn did was interrupt the love fest, and it just makes Sami Zayn look goofy. Sami Zayn and Mike Kanellis should be utilized so much better. Mike Kanellis should be Mike Bennett doing something else, wrestling down in NXT or something. Sami Zayn should be taken seriously and wrestling serious matches. Um, it's leading to a match between them at Battleground, probably on the kickoff, and Mike Kanellis probably will win, which makes sense since he's the new guy. If anybody, though, I would like to see Sami Zayn win because it's kind of stupid that Sami Zayn has to lose all these matches. And yeah, Sami Zayn's just better than Mike Kanellis to begin with. Then what else was on this show? I can't think of anything else. I think I covered everything. Oh, the Shane McMahon announced the five-way elimination match where the winner faces Naomi. It's pretty much the whole roster. Tamina Snuka, Natalia, Lana, Charlotte, and Becky. Charlotte Flair's like, why is Lana in this match? She's nothing. And it leads to a tag match with Charlotte Flair and Becky versus Tamina and Natalia. It was pretty much the same match with the same finish with Lana costing Charlotte the match just like she did to Naomi. Then, Carmella wanted to try to get James Ellsworth reinstated. She had like a petition that a attorney typed out, which probably didn't really say anything, and Shane McMahon just rips it and says the decision stands. Whatever. The woman that just thrown into a fatal five-way match for no reason. The finish of the tag match was really stupid because you had Tamina tag herself in and go for the super kick on Charlotte Flair. And what the finish was like, Charlotte didn't see it, and she would have hit the super kick, but you could clearly see that Charlotte saw it, so it was stupid. And then we had Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura. It wasn't a match; it ended up being a brawl. It was a good brawl. Referees and stuff have to break it up, and yeah. Now that's a match at Battleground. I expect Nakamura to win that because he should. Um, They should slowly build him up to being a threat to the SmackDown Live um, roster. I know, but it's tough because you also have Baron Corbin with the Money in the Bank winner, so I'm gonna wait and see on that. More so, I want that I want Nakamura to win. Um, so yeah, and that was really SmackDown. SmackDown was all right. I thought it was a pretty decent show. I liked the. I thought the match between one of the Usos and Xavier Woods was all right. The women's tag match wasn't bad, but it had a bad finish. The stuff with Cena, Rusev, and Styles and Owens wasn't too bad. I just kind of hate that it led to like a random tag match and that Owens had to get buried again. And then what else did I like on the show? The Fashion Files I liked. Talking Smack I thought was pretty solid. It was kind of a weird show, but all right. Cedric Alexander even forgot to cut a promo talking about his match with Noam Dar. I don't really count those really as a SmackDown segment because it's more of a 205 Live segment. I also liked though. There was something else. Oh, the Shinsuke Nakamura, Baron Corbin stuff. The stuff I hated though was Owens getting jobbed out. Um, Sami Zayn, Mike Kanellis feud, and the way they are booking those guys. The SmackDown, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't a fan of it. Something tells me that Lana's just gonna now get squashed by Charlotte, and then she's gonna be like the first one out of the match. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Charlotte Flair is just gonna hit the natural selection. She'll be out immediately. What else I like on SmackDown though? Well, not like obviously Jinder Mahal, everything involving him. So yeah, if I had to rate SmackDown, I probably rated a. It was a decent show. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10 because I thought it was all right. So overall, Raw won. I think Raw has been winning the past few times. I think SmackDown did win last week because I thought SmackDown was better last week, but Raw is just better than SmackDown at this point. SmackDown's crap. Um, some of the crap, but it's not as bad as it was about a month ago. That was bad. But SmackDown's just needs to get it. Like I said, I think they did the Superstar shakeup because SmackDown was better than Raw. It was better than Raw going into WrestleMania. It was, you know, it actually was better than Raw maybe ever since the brand split. And then I definitely think Jinder Mahal winning the WWE title was just so that way to get people to stop watching SmackDown and stuff because it's weird. But yeah, SmackDown was. I mean, it wasn't bad this week. It was decent, but SmackDown is, yeah, the past. I'd say since after the shakeup has just been really bland and stagnant. Um, they've just been. They have, ironically enough, too. They have the better talent. They have better talent on SmackDown than they do on Raw. If you think about it, SmackDown actually got the better. I had talked about it too. SmackDown when the Superstar shakeup happened got the better talent, but it's just the booking is terrible on SmackDown. Um, it's awful. Raw doesn't have great booking and stuff either, but it's better than SmackDown at least. And people are still trying to say that SmackDown's better than Raw. I don't see it it's, anymore. Um, it was better than Raw at one point, but after the Superstar shakeup, to me, SmackDown's been boring, lazy, and complacent. They pretty much throw a world championship on a guy that's been a jobber his whole career. Um, I mean, Breezango, I like their push and stuff, but they were literally on the dark match when I went to SmackDown Live. Um, and then, uh, like a week later, they were the number one contenders out of nowhere for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. They've progressed more now as a tag team, but I'm just saying that was weird. You have AJ Styles and Kevin Owens who are fighting over a mid card championship. Like what the fuck? They should be the ones that are feuding over the WWE Championship, not Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. You have the woman Charlotte Flair. Ever since she's come to SmackDown, it's been nothing really. Like she's really fallen down the totem pole. Um, I definitely think she needs to win this Fatal 5-Way match to kind of because she just hasn't done anything since she's come to SmackDown. Like I thought she would have. I don't know if it's because of naked photos got leaked and they were punishing her, but I'm not sure. But anyhow, yeah. So Raw was better than SmackDown. I thought Raw just followed up better on Great Balls of Fire. They um, had better matches and had a better show overall, so I thought Raw was better. But that's pretty much it, guys. Please make sure to subscribe to my Owen the Talkinator channel. I do some non-wrestling videos on there as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.